everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon, and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. You know, I hear myself saying that, but I realize what I really should have said is, hi everybody, welcome to the Paris and Sharon show. I have to say that slow because for some reason I cannot say Paris, Sharon, show all together and have it sound normal. So that's a long-winded way for me to say, welcome back to the channel, Paris. I have my 19-year-old daughter with me today.
Hi everybody.
So Paris has been on the channel several times, and whenever she comes on, we try to talk about narcissism in a positive way that you can get through it. And she tells us some stories about when she was younger, things she experienced, things maybe some of your children are experiencing. So Paris and I, the two of us is kind of weird, but I really do feel that we basically have the same personality. We might be the same person.
Oh, I agree. Like, if I find something funny, you think it's funny. If I'm stressed about something, you're stressed about it. Like, in anything in between. Like, we're linked.
We're completely in sync. Yes, it's kind of weird. But because of that, it means that sometimes we think things are funny that maybe other people would say, that's not funny. Paris and I have found humor when we reflect on the narcissist, and it's a way that helps us heal, and I recommend it if you can do it. Joe's not, he doesn't do this type of thing. This is something Paris and I do. It helps us. So we thought today we would just kind of do something fun and do, best of with Paris, and she can tell us some of the things that happened and kind of her attitude on it as she's moved forward. So we hope that this kind of makes you guys laugh. We're doing this in a fun way. Just sometimes, I don't know, like laughter really is the best medicine. So Paris, why don't you go ahead and tell us about one of the incidents of growing up with a narcissistic father?
Oh, see, I don't even know where to start because let's be honest, there's a bit. I don't know which is a good one to start with. Like,
what about Sammy?
Oh, Sammy. This one, like, I've probably told this before because
you might have preface it first with like what else was going on with him, like just
at the time.
Yeah. Look, the walls.
Well, oh yeah, so this was like weird. Yeah, I don't think we've talked about this aspect before. This was kind of nearing the time of my father's collapse. He would just sit on a chair and stare at the wall. And it was really odd because it's like, it wasn't like he was daydreaming or he was like thinking about something. He would just stare blankly at the wall.
For lengthy periods of time, like over an hour.
It was weird. It was like, it was kind of odd, and we all kind of like, okay. Like, we didn't really know how to react to it because it wasn't like, he wasn't daydreaming. I don't know what he was doing.
Well, it was weird too, guys, because it was in the house that I lived in. We called it the library. We had some books in there and a couple chairs, but it was really a dining room. So it was not a room that we really needed to use. So we could easily walk around that room. So it wasn't like we had to always cut in when he was in there, but you could see him from both angles, and he was just sitting there in a daze. It was very. And during the time when he was doing that, the kids and I used to watch TV shows at night, so we'd all get in my king-size bed and watch TV, and he easily could have come and watched shows with us. He never did, so it was like the kids and I were doing our own thing while he was literally sitting there staring at the wall.
Yeah, it was just odd. Like, I wonder if part of it had to do with him drinking. Maybe it was something like that. He was in a stupor, but I think it was more than that.
Maybe, I don't even know.
I think it was more than that because there was something odd going on there.
It wasn't normal or acceptable. It was creepy.
But then this turned into a hostage situation. To this day, like, I can laugh about it, but I'm also still like deep down inside I'm salty about it. In this room we had our little rabbit. And this rabbit, his name was Sammy. Well, his name was Samson. We called him Sammy. We adored this rabbit, and by we, I mean my mom and I, and my brother. He says he doesn't like the rabbit. He secretly liked the rabbit. He just
my son to a lesser extent.
Yeah, he was like to a lesser extent, but like if something happened to the rabbit, he'd be like, he would defend Sammy's honor as well. But he would also be the first to be making fun of Sammy. So we have that in between. But my father didn't. The only time he interacted with the rabbit was when he was in these stupors. And he would pick up the rabbit and just put him next to him. And see, I don't know how to describe this. If you don't have a rabbit, you might not know. Rabbits have amazing personalities. They're so mischievous. They love getting into everything. But they also like to cuddle, and Sammy loved to cuddle. So if you're going to be having him out, he's either going to be running around or sitting in your lap in a specific way, snuggling. And my father didn't do this with him. He just put the rabbit next to him. So Sammy wouldn't know what to do.
And my ex is a big man, you guys. So he'd be sitting in a chair, like taking up 99% of the chair, and then the rabbit would be like smushed over in the corner right next to him.
He would just squish the rabbit in. Like, it wasn't it wasn't comfortable for the rabbit at all. He should have been like holding him on his lap or like readjust, because he could have readjusted to give the rabbit more room. But the rabbit was just like squished between him and the chair. He couldn't move. And it was like, he would just stare at the wall blankly, like petting the rabbit. It was creepy. It was like, don't touch my rabbit.
It almost sounds like a horror movie. You know what I mean? You have someone, stroking like a cat or something.
Yeah.
He was like that with the rabbit. And then we never wanted him to be doing that with the rabbit, but we were afraid to say anything to him when he was sitting there in the stupor. So the poor rabbit, although the rabbit did make it through. He was okay. He didn't go down from the narcissist. But, oh man, that was bad. That was horrible. And then actually one more thing you could say about the rabbit. Remember him playing with the rabbit?
Oh, that was another thing too. When he played with the rabbit, this was like, I just don't understand this. He would lay flat on his back on the floor and just let the rabbit walk around. And Sammy never knew what to do about this. Like, he would like look at him weird, and he would like kind of like,
He would kind of nudge him with his
he
nose.
would like nudge him with his nose or put his paw on his stomach type of thing, like confused. And my father took this as the rabbit wanted to play with it. No, the rabbit's confused about why you're like just laying there not interacting with him, because Sammy loved interacting with people. Like, he loved playing with people. He quite enjoyed being chased away from things he wasn't supposed to be doing. He would find like one spot he's not supposed to be.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Every single time, like, there was one spot upstairs he was not allowed. It was a spot behind a desk with a bunch of wires. Coincidentally, Sammy's favorite spot in the room just so happened to be the spot behind the desk with all the wires. Every time.
Who could know this?
Who would have guessed that was his favorite spot?
But really, just like as a little side note, if you are thinking about getting a rabbit, you guys. I
get
told
one.
Paris, I was like, you guys, like I promised Joe no more animals, like outside of snakes because it is part of the business, but no pet animals. I am craving a rabbit. And see, I shouldn't have told Paris because now she's like, what?
Yeah, see, my thing is I want to get a kitten and I want to get a rabbit, and I will get one any time of day. Now, I didn't make this promise to Joe. So just full disclaimer, if I were to find an abandoned kitten, it's mine.
Oh, you guys
it's
too.
mine.
All right, let's just be honest too. Paris could basically bring home anything that she wants, like 5 dogs, and Joe would let her keep them.
Probably.
He believed you had, what do you think you had, like a guinea pig upstairs? He thought.
Yeah, so my guinea pig passed away last July, and I was really upset about it. I mean, Joe knew I was. He comforted me. Everybody comforted me. It was really hard for a bit, but Joe thought I got a new one. Like, I never got a new guinea pig. I did consider it for a time, but I decided not to. He fully thought I had an animal up there, and he was completely chill with it, even though he didn't want us to have any more animals.
Yeah, he says no animals, and then he thought Paris had, like, a guinea pig's it's not a huge animal, but it takes up some space.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what was I saying? Now I can't remember what I was saying.
Oh, we were talking. Oh, just recommending.
Oh,
rabbits
yes,
to
I'm
people.
sorry. Now, look at me. I'm going off track here. Yeah, so if you are looking for a pet, a rabbit is a really, really great option. So that's just my little, Sharon endorsement of go get one. What do you think, Paris?
Yeah, or you could buy us one if you want to ship it out here. We can say we found it abandoned on the side of the road.
Yeah,
Make a little story.
I can't believe we found this rabbit right outside the house. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. That shipping label on the box, just ignore that.
Yeah,
It was
just rip
it
that
was
off.
there, Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Nothing
don't
to
worry
see
about
here.
that.
So we'll definitely accept that if you're interested in that. Donate a rabbit.
Hit us up.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. So let's see, Paris. All right, so that's like him laying around, staring at the walls, weird things. Why don't you tell us about learning to drive? See, I could have like little chapters here, right? Learning to drive.
Oh yeah, like
Go
little
tell
chapter
us.
titles. See, this is similar to the staring blankly at the wall, but just 10 times worse. So I feel like I got to preface quickly. In New Hampshire, you don't need a permit to drive. It's just when you're 15 and a half, you can be on the roads. You can be on the roads with, I think it's like you have to have an adult with you that's over 25, preferably like a guardian. I think it's like a guardian over 25, something like that. So when I'm 15 and a half, you don't need any prior training. You don't need to know anything. You can literally, it's your 15 and a half day.
Get in the car.
And you're in the car. And you're just free range on the road.
Yeah.
So I need to preface it with that because it's not like I had previous practice. At the time, my father was the one mainly teaching me to drive. You were the first one to ever teach me in the car, and you like took me down to like a school parking lot, and we
Yeah, I
drove
remember
around.
that, yeah.
Like it was like a little bit like this is like a stop sign. It's like, it was like the very
This is the
baseline
break,
stuff.
yep.
This is approximately where I'm at. My father started taking me driving, And he would like see at first I started like I was grateful he was taking me driving because we were at a period where we were really busy, didn't have that much time to like spend hours every day practicing. So he'd take me out for an hour on the weekends and he would just promptly pass out. just just like he would put me on the road, I'd get on the road and he'd be like, all right, you're going down to this street. Now I would know approximately how to get to this street, but then by the time I get to like the intersection at that street, he would be passed out. So I would literally need to reach across and nudge him awake and be like, which way am I supposed to go? It was like horrible. And I can remember being like livid. Like I was just so mad about this. I'm like, why is he sleeping? Because I thought he was just sleeping. I realized later he was in a drunken stupor or something not normal was going on there for him to be
Well,
passed
you know
out.
what your father did? Now, I don't know if we ever discussed this. Sometimes I feel like almost he would try to make himself out to be like a great dad or a great, I don't know, I was going to say friend, but like when I'm thinking about that, he would take you driving because he would want to get credit. Like, oh, I took her out driving, right? And do you remember when you guys would go to youth group and he always would volunteer to drive people? So he would always be saying, like, it was like the kids would go to youth group and some kids that lived, relatively close. Oh, I'll pick them up. I'll bring them. And I felt it was weird to do at the time. But when I thought about it since, it almost seems like he just wanted like the accolades. Like, oh, Paris's dad's doing this, or he's such a great guy. I don't know. Am I like just like fishing for nothing?
No, I think you're right because other friends we would have, like if we're like, okay, we're going to this event, we're gonna drive you there, you're gonna drive us back. Like it would be like you would make some sort of plan, and maybe it would be a favor. Like there would be times people did us a favor or we did them a favor, drove them a couple days. There was a time like one of my friends got, his car was like, he didn't have a car with him. I can't remember what happened. I drove him home. Other times like people would drive us home. It's fine, but my father would do it specifically like he wasn't doing it for like in an exchange or like doing a carpool plan. It was just, oh, I'll drive him
So
for the credit.
and maybe it's just us. It just seems so weird that, we knew how it is when you're doing kids, like carpooling. It's all, you're happy when it's not your turn.
Yeah.
He's volunteering when it was just like he was just doing it. So it was a little weird.
Because he wanted like credit, like, oh, no problem, anytime.
That's what I think he wanted. Yeah,
he wasn't
I think
doing
so.
it in like a genuine way. And then
I know, but even then, even when he was driving your friends, he was drunk even then. So he's he's like telling other parents, right, that he's going to take their kids somewhere, a church event of all places, and then he's drunk driving behind the wheel.
Yeah, he was not like a super good driver either. Like also back into like when he was teaching me how to drive, he would encourage me to like cut people off and stuff.
Oh God.
And at the time I didn't know that, like, I didn't really know who had the right of way when, because he didn't explain the rules to me. He's like, oh, just go, just hit the gas and go. And then I would be honked at and I'd be confused. And he'd be like, oh, good job, you cut them off. And I'm like, what? I didn't want to cut them off. And like maybe that sounds dumb, but like it doesn't.
Like it's ridiculous. Any parent doing that, I mean, that's crazy.
Exactly, like encouraging me to like get road rage drivers speeding after me, like that's not cool.
Yeah, that is a little bit weird now that you say that.
Because I remember one time too, somebody was tailgating me and I was panicking and he's like just encouraged me to go faster.
He was horrible. He had road rage. Do you remember
helpful.
him having road rage?
Yes, kind of. Like couldn't give you like an example, but like I would know he would get mad.
There were I used to feel this way with your father, that eventually, because he was a terrible driver, he would get angry at other drivers very easily. I knew there was going to come a time where I just went separately. So like I just took my own car places, that we didn't go places together, and I would just take you guys. I didn't like being in the car with him driving because he would get angry, and I was always afraid. Now, he never got into a confrontation that I'm aware of, but I always felt like I was intimidated with him acting that way.
He kind of did get into a confrontation one time. Remember when he like, what did he say? Somebody drove him off the road?
Oh God, oh Paris.
That's not what happened. No, he was probably trying, I don't know, we weren't here with this, but like we got a call that somebody drove him off the road.
Guys, I had been separated from my ex for a year and a half, I think, like a long time, right? We weren't living together. I wasn't like his wife where he'd be calling up to do things. So I was literally, I had just gone home from church, and this was when I lived in New Hampshire. I'd get home from church, I'd quickly get ready, and I would go to work. So there's not a big turnaround time, so I'm getting ready, and this call comes in from him, and he starts yelling and screaming that somebody tried to run him off the road, and he was like in a ditch, and he didn't know what to do, and I was like, oh my God. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not my problem. Like when I have a problem, for example, a few weeks earlier, you guys, some shingles fell off the roof. I called my ex, and I was afraid because I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't afford to get the whole house redone. And he literally hung up the phone on me. So like that's like his attitude towards things, you know what I mean? Just ignore
He's not
completely.
helping.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I guess he wanted help when he was ran off the road, and like that tells you something right there.
Yes.
Who drives you off the road?
Well, he was saying something weird. It was something like
They drove him
yeah,
into
they
a
they
ditch?
literally drove him off the road. Like it was like I'm sorry, like some movie or something. And he was all panicked. He didn't know what he was going to do or where he was going to go. And I was panicking because I'm like, oh my God, he thinks he's coming here. So I was like, oh, I can't help you right now. I have to go to work. Oh, he was pissed, you guys. He didn't speak to me for quite a while after that. But that was a good silent
was
treatment
probably
because
good,
I
yeah.
didn't want to talk to him.
Exactly. It was a good thing, but yeah, it's like it was their fault, not his. Even though he was driving, he was in his car. He could have probably done something.
But for somebody to drive you off the road and you know that this creature we're talking about has road rage, like it just makes sense.
sounds a
He
little sus.
angers other people on the road.
Yeah, it's like something went wrong there. Something that was probably he was to blame. Like you don't just randomly decide to ram somebody's car off the road. He wasn't hit either. He drove into the ditch.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
not a
yeah,
car.
yeah.
He did not get pushed off. He drove off.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't his fault, Paris. Come on, what are you saying?
No, it was his problem. Sure, somebody just decided randomly to
Some
pick
random
him.
crazy person. Oh, it's always the good ones that get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. You know, couldn't have been his fault.
All right, so what other stories do we have? There's one on the top of my, like on the tip of my tongue I'm thinking of.
It's the one we were discussing about before the video with the ceiling.
Yes, it is. That's it.
So this is one actually.
What would be like a good title for this?
Oh, I don't know what to title this one. This one's like, because I think this one's the type of thing that like most people wouldn't find funny, but for some reason we did. Like I think it was so shocking what happened that we were like, it was the type of thing like, you know, when you're just like so shocked you just like start nervous laughing.
Yeah.
It was that, and this nervous laughter has turned into, we think this is hilarious. Like it's probably not, but we think it is. I would say like I call it the Sloppy Joe incident.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, that's good.
No, actually, I do need to preface quickly. This is not related to our Joe. This is like Sloppy Joe, like the food,
Like
people
a
also call it-
manwich?
Yeah, like a manwich. Yeah, this is like not. This is something different. I don't remember exactly what happened, but we were eating dinner together and we were having Sloppy Joes for dinner. As the
Even
house-
just saying that, like I don't know why I'm laughing.
It's so well, it's because it's like what's coming.
Yeah.
So I don't remember exactly why, but for whatever reason, my father was mad at my brother. Do you remember?
I don't remember why.
I think now. Keep in mind, my brother was like 12.
He was
at the
probably
time.
being bratty or
He was
something, but
probably-
I don't remember.
I think I remember like he was being a little bit bratty, but he wasn't doing something that warranted this reaction. My father suddenly stood up. I can't even say. He suddenly stood up and punched his sandwich, and it exploded. And I just remember there being silence as we're all like just staring at him, and just Sloppy Joe was everywhere.
Could you imagine that in slow motion though?
Yes, it was just like he just punched, like he just smashed his fist into it. Like I can just remember seeing the bun was completely demolished. He just smashed his fist into it and yelled, and then he went upstairs. And we're all just stunned. Like what just happened? There was Sloppy Joe on the ceiling, on the counters, like across the kitchen. You have these special white chairs. It was smeared on the back of the chairs. I mean, we obviously had it on it. His fist was covered in it. It was on the chandelier, and I can remember weeks later we were still
We'd find
finding it.
Yes, yeah.
Splattered on the chandelier. We had to repaint part of the ceiling because of it. It was horrible. Like I remember, wasn't he supposed to repaint the ceiling? And he
Yes,
never
that was
did?
one of those things that was like a list of things that he was going to do. It was always like, he's going to do, you know, there were like some holes in the walls, he was going to patch those. He was going to fix this area on the ceiling, he was going to, you know, tighten this here.
To preface with the holes in the wall, those were not punched in holes. I feel like after the sloppy
that's
joes, we need
true.
to clarify. We had like a leak in the house or something, and a repairman had to cut a hole in the wall, so that is what we were fixing. This was not like a punched incident. The only thing punched was the sandwich.
Yeah.
It was the only victim.
Sandwiches were hurt in the making of this video.
Exactly. So now whenever we make Sloppy Joes, we think about like the Sloppy
We
Joe
do,
incident.
like today, and we still do. It's kind of funny. So yeah, Paris and I, we just find humor in these. All right, Paris, do we have one more to share, or do you want to go right into our little thing that we had learned about no contact?
I can't remember if we
I
were
can't
talking
remember if
about
we had
more.
another one.
I think that was the main ones we had.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
those are
sure.
the main. All right, I think so too. But if we think of some other ones, which this is a thing Paris and I have discussed before. We're like, we know there's more things. Like there's things we're not thinking that we forgot. So we're trying to remember, you guys. We're trying. But anyways, I want to just end this video by telling you guys, I know no contact is one of those things where a lot of people, like professionals, agree that it is one of the best ways to regain your sanity after being with a narcissist, going no contact. Having anything to do with these, I can't even say people, they're creatures. It's just, these things, or Paris calls them husks. That's only going to cause problems for you. Paris and I were doing that for the most part with her father, but not completely. So there was like this little, once a week, my ex would send Paris an email, and Paris and I would read this email. No, she wouldn't respond to it. She has no contact, but she'd read the email and we would gossip about it, or we would laugh at my ex, or something like that.
Or we'd be stressed with it too, because I feel like it always started with like, oh no, the Monday email's here.
Yes.
And it like, I don't know why we were like this, but it felt like we had to read it. Like we were obligated to read it, and we usually tried to turn it around and be like, oh, that's kind of like a dumb question for him to ask, or that's kind of weird, or why would I care about that? But it was like, we always read the emails.
Well, there was this moment on Monday morning when I had to remember the email, and I'd be like, oh my God, like,
what did he say today?
Yes, and we would get nervous. And this is already after the divorce and everything, so it wasn't like there was that much you could do. He had been recently sending me emails as well, and my emails were, I would call them mildly threatening, in terms of, he'll say something like, you need to do this, or I'm going to contact the attorney, and you'll be hearing from my attorney, that type of thing. But it was not like that for Paris. There's lots of stupid questions, but both of us were looking at this email that she'd get every Monday, and there was like this sense of dread, and then once it was over, it was either relief or some type of fear, like, oh my God, like this is what's happening right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, that's what he's doing. Or he'd be asking something weird, like he was asking me like, do you like to wear sundresses? He obviously doesn't know me because I don't wear dresses. I don't even own a singular sundress, so it's just like so out of touch.
Well, that's the thing with him, and this is part of what Paris and I find humorous in this. And, and if we didn't find humor, I don't think we'd be as far along in the healing as we are. What do you think?
No, I don't think so either, because I think we'd be stuck in the trap of, like, being terrified all the time. And it's an understandable, like, trap to be in, but it's like we fought out of it. Like, I don't think I'd be okay if I didn't do that.
Well, Paris and I have both had the same attitude, and the attitude really is, this thing, this hus, this being, whatever it is not going to hold me back. I'm going to do whatever I want to do in life, and he's not going to have anything to say about it. But there's still like some fear attached to that, I think, a little bit.
Yes, and then it's just like fell in this trap, but then slowly we kind of stopped reading them.
Well, yeah, so what happened, so we were reading these emails, it would upset us, it would impact Monday for sure, every Monday, like that realization. And my ex was also at the time sending me a lot of emails, and I never, if I get an email from my ex, I always show it to Joe. So he was reading the emails, he was getting upset about it, I was upset, and then Joe said at one point, he's like, why are we reading these over and over? It's like, this is ridiculous. It's like, we're like sick over this. There's something that we can feel, like there's something on us, like because of this. And he was right. And it was almost like, the best way I can describe this is, it's almost like, have you ever felt like, oh my gosh, I just need to take a shower right now, or I just really want to brush my teeth? It was kind of like that. Like, I just felt gross. And so it like clung to us, it impacted the night. So that had happened with Joe and I, and he was like, we can't read these anymore. We'll read the first line and that's it, right? And then when it comes to Paris, he was like, don't let her read them. Don't read them. Just don't even look at them. So we stopped looking at them. This is about a month ago. And how has it changed, Paris?
I think it's definitely made Mondays less stressful. Like I'll like even forget it exists, because I do have him blocked on my account, so the email goes straight to my trash. So it doesn't pop up. Like I empty my trash once or twice a week, but I don't like look at what's in there before I delete it. I just empty the whole thing. Yeah. So I don't really think about it as much anymore.
It's been transformative for me. It really has. Like, because I wasn't thinking that this was really this huge event in my life. I did notice on Mondays I'd get anxiety as soon as I recognized it. I'd wake up I'm not thinking of it, and then I know you're getting up soon. I'm like, oh my gosh, the email. Like that type of thing would happen. I feel so much more peace. I don't care. Like, my son doesn't read the emails. My daughter doesn't read them now. So he's not a part of our life. And so if you can do that, it's been transformative for us, because that anxiety, it's just amazing how they can creep in. They have like tentacles. They just grab you. So just from getting an email once a week, that was pretty generic, hi Paris, do you like to wear sundresses? I love you, Dad. I mean, that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That
that's
type of
it.
thing had the ability to really upset us. Or him telling me, you know, I'm going to contact the attorney, and suddenly I'm like devastated, and then I'm burdening Joe with this, and you know, then I'm in a bad mood. It makes life so different, you guys. I really, you know, when I first started going no contact, it was one of those things where I was like, well, I don't think I'll be able to do that forever. Like, I'll have to have contact with him at some point. As time has gone on, I'm so against breaking no contact. Like, Paris is like this too. We are like, no, like I'll die before I break no contact. So there's nothing I'm going to say to him at all. So I don't need to know what he's saying, because it's not going to affect anything on my end. I need to live my life. So we have both found that going completely no contact like this, it just from personal experience, if you're contemplating this, it really does get better, and it gets better quickly. It didn't take that long.
Yeah, no, it was, I mean, once we like skipped a week, it was better, and then like, you know, the week after that, I feel like as time goes on and we get even further into it, it's going to continue to get
Me too.
better.
It's only been like, I think it's about 6 weeks or so. And I remember at first I would be like, oh, the email. All right, we're not going to look at it. And then I'd remember it the next week. Now I don't. I'm like, oh God, how many emails has it been that we don't know? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know. I would get tempted by some of the emails, like at first, particularly.
Oh,
like,
do you want to tell your bad story?
Oh no! See, I'm exposing myself here. I saw.
All right, guys, this is the true Paris. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Listen in. Listen to what this girl did.
So this an incident occurred. So I see, it's in like my trash inbox, and I saw the first line of it, and I can't remember what the first line said.
So it was an email from your father.
Yeah, it was my email from my father, and I was gonna go delete it, but then I glanced and I saw the first line, and I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was something about one of the dogs or something like that, and I wanted to open it so bad. I was talking to my mom about it, and I was like, I really want to like open this email. Like, I want to see what it says. Like, why is he talking about the dogs? And she's like, all right, let's pray about it. And
As soon as I said, let's pray. Go ahead. Your
I was
response.
like, no, we can't do that, because then I'm not going to be able to open it. See, this is like, we can't bring God into this one, because, and then I'm going to kind of be obligated to delete the email, because I guess it helped me make the decision. I knew, like, as soon as she said that, I was like, I know what the
the
answer
look
is.
on her face when I said that, she's
no.
like, no, why did you say that? Like, you wanted to give into, like, you know, I picture like an angel on one side, a devil on the other.
Yeah.
You wanted that devil side.
Exactly. See, if you had said like, all right, just this once, I'm like, awesome, like clicking it open, like I was like, this is great news, everyone.
Well, I'm glad I thought to say that about God, because I wanted you to open it. That's the thing, because I think there's like this part of us that we want to know what's going on in their head.
Yeah, like we want to see what is he doing.
Yeah.
So it definitely did help to bring God into it. Although at the time I was a little
She was,
disappointed.
yeah,
That
she
was
was,
the end.
oh, come on, Mom. You had to bring the big guy into it. Come
Yeah,
on.
come
You
on.
could do better than that. Jeez. Well, Paris, thank you for coming on the channel. So why don't you tell us what your plans are for the summer and your next book before we get going?
Oh yeah, so I did I mention in the beginning that I finished my first semester? I can't remember.
No, yeah, you did. Of
Okay, I
school,
did.
yes.
Yeah, I was like, I honestly can't remember what we're talking about. So I'm on like, I have like 2 weeks before my summer classes start. So there's that, and then I guess I have 2 big things for the summer. Like my classes, I am excited to do them, but like my 2 exciting things, I'm visiting my best friend over the summer. We're going to our favorite artist, NF, is going on tour this summer. We're gonna go and meet up and go to the concert together. So that's the thing I'm excited for sure. And then my 3rd book is gonna be coming out. My plan, I haven't announced this on like my public Instagram yet, so you guys are getting the news first. August 25th. So I published the first book in the trilogy on my 19th birthday, and my birthday's August 26th, so it's going to be the first thing I do when I'm 19, and then I'm going to finish being 19 with publishing the 3rd book in the trilogy.
I love that. I love that type of thought that you put into it, because it's so special.
Well, exactly. I was like, I want my books to have special
Yeah.
dates, like they did. Like, so it published the first one on my birthday, the second one was published on one of the characters' birthdays, and now the 3rd one's going to be
I'm
published.
going to link down below some of Paris's, her Instagram, and she has a YouTube channel as well, and her books, like how to get them. And so hit her up if you want.
Yes, my YouTube channel is at 93 subscribers, so if you want to help me get to 100.
Come on, help a girl out.
Yeah, I just
All right,
need
what
7
is
more.
what is the? Hey, I'll put it down below. But what is the name of your channel?
So the channel is Paris and Her Books. So it's just one word, Paris and Her Books. That's my Instagram handle as well. It's also my email for my author page. Just add like basically everything Paris and her books. That is where you can find me on pretty much any platform.
Actually, Paris interviewed me on her channel once, so if you want to see me in the flesh, go ahead and check out her YouTube channel.
She had the girls too?
Yes, oh, and the girls, we have our little dogs. Paris and I call, so we have the dogs, Belle and Fiona, the four of us are the crew. So we're the only females in the house. Well, I guess the chickens too, but for some reason, it's just the four of us.
They do the girls. The chickens don't fit in as much.
No, they don't. But oh, you guys, it's because we have these little dogs. Paris and I went shopping the other day, and we got the greatest little buy. Because I saw this little dress, and it said something like birthday princess, and it was so cute. And Paris is so sweet, so I was like, oh, God, I'm like, I want to get that so bad. I was like, I just can't justify getting it. Like, Belle's birthday's in July for one thing, and Fiona's August, so it wasn't like I needed this right now, or needed it at all. Paris was like, no, I want to get it for him. So she bought this, like, birthday princess outfit for them. But then we found the sale section, you guys, and there were 2 dresses, and what did I say?
Free to sparkle.
Free to sparkle. You know what? I'm going to put some pictures of this on the community page. You can see what I'm talking about. We got them some new dresses, and they were $2.50 each, so we were so pleased with these dresses. So,
we were like,
yeah.
It was like one of our little girl things. We had the girls with us.
Yeah, they were with us at the store,
and we were like, oh my gosh. So like on the way home, we're like, okay, so first thing we do when we get home, we're going to put them new outfits on. It was like our little girl outing.
And it's so funny, you guys, because Joe is like this too. Like, we joke around that we're going to eventually have a closet for the dog's clothes because he likes to dress the dogs up too.
Yeah, exactly. Like when he was at work at the time, but when he got home, the girls rushed over. Like they were showing him their outfits.
They do.
And he congratulated them on it. So it was like, it's like a whole family thing.
The dogs know that they look cute in their little outfits, and they do. They want everybody to tell them how cute they look.
Yeah, exactly. I had to call my brother down. He came down to look at the outfits. It was a whole ordeal.
These dogs are narcissists, maybe.
Maybe. They're a little self-absorbed, but we love them anyway.
Yes, exactly. All right, well, Paris, thank you for coming on the channel. I'm not sure when I'm going to release this. It'll be sometime on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we'll see about that. But thank you for joining us, and I will have you on again soon, I'm sure. And we can try to think it's about some more crazy narcissist stories. Trauma done to Paris.
There's a lot more where that came from.
Oh, guys, we can really hit up my trauma. All right, you guys, thank you. I will see you in the next video, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.